Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And boy, this is not the video I was planning on making today. This is a video I knew I would eventually have to make. But boys, the meme has come true. We're getting Soviet CVs. I mean, who didn't see this coming? It's been a meme for forever. I am surprised we were seeing them before something like the French CVs, though. But I knew they were eventually coming, like I'm sure most of us did. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. This is, of course, from the development blog. All information is, of course, preliminary. I'm going to read straight from it. The link to it is in the description down below. I will throw up any relevant images or artwork from the dev blog up on screen. But again, if you want to read along as I read aloud, check out the link down below. And I do encourage you guys to go ahead and check out this link. There's a lot of detailed ship statistics that we will skim over, but we won't get into the nitty-gritty of. We'll look at the important stats, but if you really want to get an idea of what these things are, I would recommend you check it out. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive right on in. So ST-10.6 Soviet aircraft carriers. Soviet aircraft carriers Komsomolets, Surov, Pobeda, Admiral Nakhimov, and Chikhalov have been added to the game for testing. Please note that all information in the development blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The following information will be published on our game's website. The following searchable Soviet aircraft carriers will be added to the game in the upcoming closed testing session. Komsomolets, Tier 4, Surov, Tier 6, the Pobeda, Tier 8, things have been reincarnated, the Admiral Nakhimov, Tier 10. And here's the images of the Komsomolets, which looks like your standard. We converted a freighter into a CV, so usual low-tier CVs. The Surov looks like a more proper CV. Looks pretty small, though, judging by the biplanes on deck. The Pobeda looks like a proper CV. Looks nice and bulky with that superstructure. And then the Nakhimov, again, looks like a pretty standard Tier 10 CV. Looks like a little bit of the modern Russian CV in there with, I don't know if it's just the angle that the picture's taken at, but looks like the front of the ship has a little bit of a ramp to it. Alright, key features of the Soviet aircraft carriers. Each squadron consists of only one attacking flight. Soviet aircraft carriers have a small number of aircraft in their squadrons, reaching up to 8 planes at Tier 10. Beginning at Tier 8, planes are equipped with rocket boosters similar to the Issei and the Tone. Rocket boosters are automatically activated during takeoff and give a short-term increase in speed. All planes have a small amount of HP and low cruise speed. The repair squadron consumable is available to Pobeda's torpedo bombers and to all of Admiral Nakhimov's squadrons. Torpedoes carried by torpedo bombers have long range and long arming times. Attack aircraft on tiers 8 and 10 are armed with HE rockets, the equivalent of US Tiny Tims. At Tier 4, Komsomolets has standard aircraft types. Starting from Tier 6, Soviet aircraft carriers carry skip bombers with HE bombers instead of standard dive bombers. Good ship concealment. The concept of the branch: one squadron, one attack. To play effectively, squadrons will need to make a lot of brief flights at short to medium ranges due to their low cruise speed. This is helped by the good concealment of the ships and the presence of rocket boosters on the planes. Squadrons are vulnerable to AA due to the low HP, and each lost plane reduces the total damage that can be dealt to the enemy. The new ships, skip bombers and torpedo bombers, can use their long range to avoid staying too long in the enemy AA zone. However, in this case, it will be easier for enemy ships to evade attack. Soviet aircraft carrier Chikhalov, Tier 8. Fast-moving large aircraft carrier based on Project 71B of the late 1930s. The Chikhalov is armed with aviation similar to the researchable Soviet Tier 10 aircraft carrier Admiral Nakhimov. Each squadron consists of only 6 planes. The ship is also distinguished from other Soviet aircraft carriers by its available selection of squadrons, torpedo bombers, skip bombers, and dive bombers. The Chikhalov is best used for dealing damage to low mobility targets and supporting allies in the fight for key areas. Alright, so after reading that right there, it sounds like, dare I say, these things are actually kind of balanced. And I know that's probably gone against a lot of the rage posting that's gone on the forums and Reddit and all over YouTube. But just from the initial impressions, the aircraft have low speed. We'll see how low here in a second. Low HP. You only get one attacking squadron. And you have the ability to do something that I've been saying you have definitely been needing the ability to do since the CV rework. And that when you shoot down a plane, it reduces the amount of ordnance coming at you. Whereas with the CV rework, the way it works now, if a carrier has 3 attacking flights, and let's say there's 3 planes in that squadron, and they have 2 torps each. If you shoot down one plane, a plane from the rest of the flight will just replace that plane's place in the attacking squadron. Therefore, you have to chew through the entire flight before you even start to get to the point where you can reduce the amount of ordnance coming at you, which is something you used to be able to do in the RTS CVs because all the planes would attack at once in RTS CVs, and you could shoot down a plane and reduce the amount of torpedoes or bombs coming at you. Now with the Soviet CVs, you can do that again because they only have one attacking flight, and they're very slow and they have very low HP, and they're equipped with skit bombers at from what, tier 6 up, which is a very, very RNG based armament. I don't know if you've come across the Max Immelman yet, but it is pretty RNG based. The CV captain has to have pretty good aiming skills to first off get them to land correctly, and plus there's a lot of time to dodge them unless he drops it like right on you, which most of them don't do because they need time to aim. And plus 2, these are long range ordnance, the torpedoes and these skip bombers, according to the article at least. Of course, I haven't seen them in action, so you will have plenty of time to dodge it, whereas most CVs have to, well, not have to, but can drop their torpedoes right on the edge of your arming distance, which these things have a big arming distance, unlike some ships like the FDR and the Enterprise that can drop the torpedoes right on top of you. And for most of the CVs too, their arming distance isn't too long. But again, we'll have to see when these things come out in testing and such, just how long is long and how, well, we can see how slow is slow here with the stats here in a moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Soviet carrier Komsomolets, tier 4. So let's see. We're not really going to look at anything about the carrier because who cares? It's just a floating runway for the planes. So the aircraft, they only have 830 hit points. That's not a lot. Their cruising speed is 126 knots. And you get 4 in an attacking aircraft flight. So that's 4 overall. So you have 4 sets of torpedoes, 4 sets of bombs, 4 sets of rockets. So that's it. So the rockets and payload, there's 4. Maximum rocket damage, 1,450. And they have a 26mm armor pin and a 4% chance to start as fire. So that's pretty low for 16 rockets. Torpedo bombers hit points 1,220. Cruising speed of 87 knots. That is really slow. Again, 4 in the attacking flight. It takes 72 seconds to restore the aircraft. 60 seconds to restore the rocket planes. The torpedoes have a 6-kilometer range and a 661-meter arming distance. So that's 1/6 of the torpedo range is arming, just about. Dive bombers, hit points 1080, cruising speed 92 knots. I mean, this is tier 4, but that is pretty slow. Again, 4 bombs and payload, 1 HE bomb per plane, so you only get 4 bombs. Maximum bomb damage 6,100 and 32mm of armor pin, and a 35% chance of causing a fire. Alright, so the Surov, the tier 6. Alright, so the attack aircraft, again, 830 hit points, cruising speed 149 knots, a little bit faster here. Size of attacking aircraft 6, so the Surov gets 6 planes per flight. And for the rocket planes, you get a 58-second restoration time. Rockets and payload 4, maximum rocket damage 2,100, armor pin 26mm, and 8% chance of causing fire. Torpedo bombers 1,220 hit points, 87 knot cruising speed, again 6 aircraft per squadron and per attack run, and they get restored in 67 seconds. And they get 1 torpedo per payload. Maximum torp damage is 3,833. They go 41 knots, so kind of quick. 6-kilometer range and a 771 meter arming distance. So that's, again, over a sixth of the range of the torps. Skip bombers, they have 1,190 hit points. They cruise at 112 knots, and they get 6 per attacking squadron and 6 overall again. A restoration time of 67 seconds, and they get 1 bomb per payload. Again, maximum bomb damage is 6,100. 32 mils of pin at tier 6, and a 35% chance of causing a fire. And they get 2 skips in their skip bombing pattern. Alright, the Pobeda, her aircraft, her rocket planes have 1,000 hit points. They move at 161 knots, and again 6 per squadron. And they have a 76-second restoration time. And the rockets and payload is 4. They get 3,500 damage and 40 mils of pin. A 17% chance of causing a fire. The torpedo bombers, they have 1,470 hit points. They move at 115 knots, again 6 per squadron and per attack. They have a 91-second reload time. They get 1 torpedo per payload, maximum damage of 5,400, move at 35 knots, and then the 6-kilometer range and a 752 meter arming distance. Alright, skip bombers, 1,310 hit points. They move at 120 knots, and again 6 aircraft per squadron, 89-second restoration time. They get 1 bomb per payload. Maximum bomb damage is 8,700. They have 54 mils of penetration, 49% chance of causing a fire, and 3 skips. Alright, the Admiral Nakhimov, tier 10. Her planes, so this is the tier 10, keep in mind too. Her attack aircraft, rocket planes, have 1,090 hit points. They move at 168 knots, and you get 8 per squadron, and they restore in 70 seconds. You get 4 rockets per payload, 4,750 rocket damage, armor pin of 40 millimeters, a 27% chance of causing a fire. The torpedo bombers hit points is 1,470, cruising speed of 124 knots. Again, 8 per squadron, 8 per attack. 1 torpedo each. Maximum torpedo damage of 6,400. And they have a speed of 35 knots and a 6-kilometer range. And the torpedo arming distance is 940 meters. Skip bombers, they have a 1,310 hit points. A cruising speed of 125 knots. Again, 8 per squadron, 8 per attack run. They restore in 80 seconds. And you get 1 bomb per payload. You get a maximum bomb damage of 8,700. And the bombs have a pin of 54 millimeters. And they have a 49% chance of causing a fire. And you get 3 skips. Okay, so the Chkalov, the tier 8, the premium one. The torpedo bombers hit points 1,470. They cruise at 115 knots. 6 aircraft per flight, 6 per attack run. They restore in 89 seconds. And you get 1 torpedo per payload. And you get 5,400 maximum damage. They move at 41 knots, 6-kilometer range. They have an arming distance of 1,101 meters. Good lord, that's... yeah, dang. The dive bombers, 1,310 hit points. They cruise at 125 knots. 6 per squadron, 6 per attack. They restore in 89 seconds. And the bombs and payload, you get 1 HE bomb. Maximum damage 8,700 and pins of 54 millimeters and 49% chance of causing a fire. The skip bombers, they have same as the dive bombers for health, 1,310. Same for the speed, same for the amount of aircraft, same for the restoration time, and same for the bombs as well. They just drop them normally instead of skipping them. I'm sorry, no, they skip them instead of dropping them normally. So, overall, yeah, they don't sound too terribly good at the moment. It sounds like you're going to have to get really good at leading targets with very slow ordnance. I thought maybe the torpedoes might be fairly quick for having such long lead times. But the torpedoes, the tier 10 torpedoes, they only travel at 35 knots. Many ships at tier 10 Georgia can outrun those. So you got plenty of space there. The skip bombers, yeah, she slings 8 of them at you, but if you shoot down just 2 aircraft, they're down to 6. And skip bombers are, again, pretty RNG based, and if you haven't fought against an Immelman, they're not the most terrifying things. Now, if they somehow manage to land all of their skip bombers on you, yeah, it hurts, but it's not like FDR where it just erases most of your health in one attack run. They sound actually pretty interesting. It's a much different approach to CVs overall, with the 1 squadron, 1 attack. And again, you have the ability to shoot down the aircraft and actually take away some of the damage coming at you. Whereas, again, with other CVs, you have to chew through the entire squadron before you even have a chance of doing that. So that's a huge plus in my mind for fighting against these things. Now, I know some people are just going to, re-Soviet CV. Some people will just re-CV. And now it's Soviet CV, so there's extra re behind it. But they sound pretty, I don't want to say not useless for sure, but it sounds like there's going to be a lot more skill involved, because you're going to have to lead these targets with these ships tremendously far. Especially with the speed of these torpedoes and the speed of these bombers and the range you're going to have to be dropping at to avoid losing all your planes, even at tier 10. I mean, at tier 10, a ship with planes that only travel at 100 and something knots, 124 knots at tier 10, I think that's under half of the top speed of some of the German planes. So, yeah, I don't think, I mean, people are going to be outraged just because it's Soviet again and because they're CVs again, but I don't think a lot of the outrage is worth it. I don't think people have actually looked at the stats for these ships. They're pretty, not terrible, but they're going to be pretty difficult to use, I can tell from that. I mean, I'm already terrible at CVs. I don't know what you're watching. If you're watching CV gameplay, you might be watching Russian battleship gameplay. I don't know, but many of you know I'm terrible at them, so I probably won't even touch these besides just getting them for some videos. But yeah, they seem like they're going to be pretty challenging to use as they stand right now. We'll see how they develop. They may rework them, but it's a pretty unique concept. I'm actually glad they're trying something different with CVs rather than just kind of going along the formula of the 3 squadrons and so forth and so on. So it's pretty refreshing that they're trying something new. We'll see how they pan out. It does seem, since they're going for the submarine rework, they're just going like, alright, just release all the crap we've got in the coffers that we've been hiding from the players for some time now, because we've already gone so far off the map with like the hybrids and stuff. Let's go ahead and just go a little bit further. The rocket assisted takeoff is pretty neat. It can be a pretty useful tool, like with the Issei and the Tone, which Tone's apparently coming out today actually too, so that'll be interesting. Give those very slow planes a bit of a boost, and with the carriers being stealthy, you can maybe park a little bit closer to the enemy team and maybe get a faster cycle time on these planes, but again, we'll see once they come out. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below of these Soviet CVs, the long-awaited and long-memed-on ships. They're finally coming to the game, and, well, for testing in 10.6. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. On our way to 30,000 subs, we just passed 26,500 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. And you guys, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.